everybody, if they need to, will have a reason why it is going to be hard this year to realize the income and lifestyle you dream about. All of us will. And yet, some of the masterpieces, people and things have been created from adversity. Michelangelo, arguably one of the world's greatest artists, he created David, this magnificent sculpture of a man, perfection, that centuries and centuries of people will get to enjoy. And when you see David, and I know many of you have been to Italy and seen David, you'll feel tears come to your eyes. He's so perfect. And yet, when Michelangelo went to the quarry to find the marble to create his sculpture, the piece he chose, the quarry master tried to talk him out of it. He said that huge piece of marble is full of imperfections and flaws. You'll need to find another piece. And Michelangelo took that marble back to his studio and created David, arguably one of the greatest masterpieces of the world. And you know what he said? He said, I saw the angel in the marble and I carved until I set him free. And that is our challenge, that we take what we have in life and we carve the best out of it. And you can carve perfection out of anything. The greatest lesson I learned, apart from not to wear my past like some trophy to victimhood, was that it takes courage, not confidence, to dare to believe that you are worth everything that Juice Plus has to offer. Confidence has nothing to do with it. It's courage. It's the courage to move beyond your comfort zone, move beyond excuses and circumstances, and decide that I want it, I deserve it, I can do it, and I will do it. But that's not the only little parking bay that we have to deal with as we grow our businesses. Life is complicated. And I'm sure there are one or two of you in this room right now who are thinking, it sounds great, but what if the recession continues? What if I can't find prospects? What if I can't find business builders? What then? And if I asked you right now, how many of you were willing to stand on stage and say, I will achieve this in 2011 and 12? How many of you would want to stay there just in case it didn't happen? Well, that's a little bit like saying, I'd like to be an optimist, but I know it wouldn't work out. And it's again overthinking, as Mark Twain said. I've had some terrible times in my life, some of which actually happened. So if you have doubts about yourself, about the economy, about anything, how about you translate that what if this way? What if you had it in you to live an amazing life? What if you had it in you to change the lives of hundreds, thousands, or hundreds of thousands of Americans and Australians and Canadians in this wonderful worldwide company? What if that was your destiny, but you gave it up without giving it your best shot? You allowed yourself to pull into that little comfortable parking bay because it was easier to be there than challenge yourself to really discover how great that you could be. So what if that was your destiny? What if hell is discovering what you could have done with your life? So give yourself permission to succeed and avoid all the little parking bays that will come at you. Another one I want to share with you. I'm sure all of you have felt a need sometimes or a temptation to pull into this one, the little parking bay with the sign on it, what other people think. Has anyone got a negative person in their life? We all deal with negativity. Some people were born with the gift of being able to put a dampener on other people's enthusiasms. It's a talent. And they love to use it. And I don't know if there are so many mean girls out there or they just move around a lot, but we are going to come across people who say, oh, but you used to be a doctor and you're now selling full-time, you're in direct selling, or you used to be a nurse, or you used to be a teacher. What are you doing? You know, doesn't the lack of security worry you? Maybe you will come across those people. But you can't let other people determine your destiny in life. Pretty much, I believe there are two types of people. Those who light up every room they enter, and those who light up every room they leave. And one of the greatest philosophers of all time, Dr. Seuss, always be yourself, because the people who matter don't mind, and the people who mind don't matter. And it's not just the little emotional handicap parking bays that you're going to need to deal with back on planet reality, where things will come unstuck. One of the greatest challenges that all of us have to deal with is sabotage. Sabotaging ourselves when there is nothing tangible that keeps us from success. I want to tell you how I see this business. Well, Mount Everest has a special association for me because I'm originally from New Zealand. And I don't know if anyone's been to New Zealand. It's not the end of the earth, but on a clear day, you can definitely see it from there. So it's a small country, but it was a New Zealander who was the first person in the world to climb Mount Everest, to stand on top of the world. So growing up as a child, he was our national hero. He was it. He was the man we looked to for inspiration, that we could be and do and have anything we wanted for life. He was one of the first people that made me realize you don't have to settle for less. You can settle for more. Everybody settles for something. Why not settle for more? But what I discovered about Mount Everest was so different from what I expected. First of all, Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain, is 29,000 feet above sea level. And when you climb Mount Everest, you are standing on top of the world. What a lot of people, including me, didn't realize is that base camp, and every climber who makes that ascent, first of all, goes to base camp. Base camp is 19,000 feet above sea level. When you get to base camp, you've already ascended 2/3 of the mountain. And there's only 10,000 feet left to climb. But what many people don't realize is that to climb that last 10,000 feet is a journey of approximately 70,000 feet. Because it's taking a few steps forward and then discovering that you need to retrace your steps and find perhaps a safer, a better, a faster route, depending. The mountain has its own ecoclimate. You can never predict what might happen. And so many climbers set out in perfect conditions. They've done their preparation, and they set out to climb the mountain, and they make progress only to have a storm come in without notice, and they have no alternative but to retrace their steps all the way back to base camp. Can you imagine how that feels? To be halfway to the summit and have to turn back and retrace your steps and regroup and re-prepare and get ready for that next attempt. Take off. And if you're lucky, the conditions will be better than on that first attempt. And you will discover you are at the same point that you turned back a precious hour earlier than you anticipated, than last time. But as you round that corner, you discover that the storm has left behind a wall of ice that will make that route up the mountain completely, absolutely impossible. And you have no choice but to retrace your steps, find another way to ascend that mountain. But every single person who stands on the top of the world has not let any of that defeat them. They've understood that every journey worth taking is steps forward, steps back. You have a plan A. This is what I'm going to be doing. I have a distributor who I know has it in them to become a sales coordinator. I just need one more person and I'm going to achieve my next goal. And that person loses interest, loses heart, loses confidence, whatever it is, and they disappear from the business. Think of it like climbing that mountain. It's just part of the journey, and don't let it defeat you. Find a way, a different way to climb up that mountain.